new styles, everyday finds, one place. Welcome to Shack Shop, your go-to online store for women's fashion and must-have essentials. From trendy outfits to lifestyle items you didn't know you needed, it's all here. Easy shopping, great prices, new arrivals dropping often. Shop smarter. Shop Shack Shop. Visit us online today.
How I Want Your Sex became the defining provocation of the 2026 Sundance Film Festival. The 2026 Sundance Festival has already delivered its share of buzzy premieres, celebrity sightings, and award season positioning, but few films have ignited as much sustained conversation as I Want Your Sex, the latest provocation from acclaimed indie filmmaker Gregg Araki. Making its world debut on January 23rd in Park City, Utah, the film arrived carrying the kind of anticipation usually reserved for legacy auteurs, yet it quickly distinguished itself not through spectacle or celebrity alone, but through its refusal to soften its message for comfort or consensus. From the moment festival-goers lined up outside the Eccles Center Theater, it was clear that I Want Your Sex was not simply another Sundance entry, it was an event. Attendees whispered about its premise, its casting, and Araki's long-standing reputation for challenging audiences. When the lights finally dimmed, the room settled into a charged stillness, the kind that signals viewers know they are about to be confronted rather than entertained. By the time the credits rolled, reactions were anything but muted. Some audience members applauded enthusiastically. Others sat quietly, processing what they had just seen. Conversations erupted almost immediately, spilling into the icy Park City night, where debates continued in shuttle lines, hotel lobbies, and late-night festival parties. Within hours, I Want Your Sex had become one of the most discussed titles of Sundance 2026, not because it sought controversy, but because it refused to avoid it. At the center of the film's impact are Olivia Wilde and Cooper Hoffman, whose dynamic anchors the story with emotional gravity and unsettling intimacy. Wilde, 41, delivers one of the boldest performances of her career as an enigmatic Los Angeles artist whose creative process deliberately blurs the boundaries between control, desire, authorship, and vulnerability. Hoffman, 22, portrays a younger man drawn into her orbit, not merely as a collaborator or muse, but as a willing participant in a relationship structured around power, consent, and emotional exchange. Together, they inhabit a narrative space that resists easy classification. Their relationship is not presented as romantic in any traditional sense, nor is it framed as cautionary. Instead, Araki positions it as a living question, one that forces audiences to confront their own assumptions about age, agency, sexuality, and artistic authority. Gregg Araki and the Art of Refusal. To understand why I Want Your Sex landed with such force, it helps to understand Gregg Araki's place in American independent cinema. Now 66, Araki has spent decades carving out a space for stories that mainstream Hollywood has historically avoided. Emerging as a defining voice of the new queer cinema movement in the 1990s, his films have consistently challenged cultural taboos around sex, identity, trauma, and desire. From The Doom Generation to Mysterious Skin to Kaboom, Araki has never been interested in reassuring audiences. Instead, his work invites discomfort, ambiguity, and confrontation. His characters often exist at the margins, emotionally, socially, sexually, and his narratives resist moral neatness. That ethos is fully realized in I Want Your Sex, which marks Araki's 11th film to premiere at Sundance. Few films can claim such a long-standing relationship with the festival, and fewer still have maintained their willingness to provoke rather than conform. Yet even by Araki standards, this film feels like a culmination. It is not louder or more explicit than his earlier work, but it is sharper, more focused, and more attuned to the cultural moment. A story rooted in the present. Set primarily within a contemporary Los Angeles art gallery, I Want Your Sex situates its narrative in a world already primed for debate. The art world, long criticized for its power imbalances, gatekeeping, and blurred professional boundaries, becomes the perfect setting for a story about authorship and control. The gallery functions as both a literal and symbolic space. It is a place of exhibition, observation, and performance, where bodies and ideas are curated, consumed, and critiqued. Within this environment, Wilde's character operates as a figure of authority, an established artist whose work commands attention and respect. Hoffman's character enters this world not as a victim or naive, but as someone drawn by curiosity, ambition, and desire. The film is careful to establish his agency early on, making it clear that his participation is conscious and deliberate. This framing is crucial. Rather than constructing a narrative of coercion, Araki insists on complexity.
Power exists, but it is negotiated, questioned, and at times destabilized. The deliberate absence of easy answers. One of the most striking aspects of I Want Your Sex is its refusal to provide clear moral signposts. The film does not instruct viewers on how to feel. Instead, it presents a series of interactions, choices, and consequences, allowing discomfort to linger. This approach proved divisive at Sundance. Some viewers praised the film for trusting its audience. Others expressed frustration at its ambiguity. But that tension is precisely the point. Araki and co-writer Charli construct a narrative that mirrors real-world debates around consent, kink, and generational differences in sexual politics. By avoiding explicit judgment, the film exposes how quickly audiences rush to impose their own frameworks. Is the relationship empowering? Is it exploitative? Is it both? The film suggests that the answer may depend less on what is happening on screen than who is watching and why. Olivia Wilde, a performance without safety nets. For Olivia Wilde, I Want Your Sex represents a significant evolution in her career. Known for balancing mainstream success with independent credibility, Wilde has increasingly gravitated toward projects that foreground female agency and creative risk. Her performance in Araki's film is stripped of vanity. She plays her character not as a fantasy figure, but as a deeply flawed, often contradictory human being. Authority and insecurity coexist. Control and vulnerability intersect. During the post-screening Q&A, Wilde spoke candidly about what drew her to the project. She emphasized that the role demanded complete trust, not only in Araki, but in her scene partner. The relationship had to feel real, she explained. Not transactional, not performative. There had to be something human underneath it. That humanity, she noted, was apparent almost immediately when she met Cooper Hoffman. An instant creative connection. Wilde recalled that the moment she met Hoffman, she sensed an unspoken understanding. There was an immediate click, she said, that rare feeling where you know you can trust someone creatively. Her remark, "I love you," delivered half-jokingly, drew laughter from the audience, but it also underscored the seriousness of what the film required: emotional openness, vulnerability, and mutual respect. For a story built around power exchange, trust was not optional, it was foundational. Casting as creative commitment. Gregg Araki has often said that directing is 99% casting, and I Want Your Sex is a testament to that philosophy. From the outset, he was clear with Wilde about the demands of the role. "There was no version of this movie where we compromised," he said during the Q&A. "It only works if everyone goes all in." Wilde did not hesitate. She said, "Let's go," he recalled. And once she did, everything opened up. Her commitment, he said, signaled to others that this was a project worth risking for. The ensemble cast quickly followed.